What's up guys, this is Yasin. So today we're going to be going over some deck lists from the OCG, so some results from tournaments that happened like 2 days ago in 2 different countries, so Thailand and the Philippines. Oh, actually one of them is super recent. Yeah, that's a 2-day tournament. Okay, so it's pretty much almost like a YCS, but not really because there's 230 players, so still, it's still worth analyzing. And obviously that's featuring the new set, so you know, with Dragon Tail, K9, and Yummy. So obviously very interesting, and also post-ban list, so Ryzeal is pretty much completely crippled. Anyways, before we go any further, y'all, you know the drill, smash the like, subscribe button, blah blah blah, check out my Blue Eyes and Crystron spreadsheet on my website. And also, I wanted to mention that I did delete yesterday's video because I realized, like, I mean, after people told me that I wasn't supposed to upload it because, yeah, there were some, I mean, the cards weren't actually officially announced, so yeah, my bad for that. I took it down after, like, a short period of time, but yeah, whatever. Anyways, this is the one in Thailand. So the event was won by Dragon Tail, but we still have some Ryzeal, which is so confusing. Like, even when you destroy everything, this deck is still there. It's basically like a cockroach, this deck. I don't even understand how it survives everything. Maliss didn't really get crippled that much, I think. A lot of the new decks are doing well now, Dragon Tail especially. And I've been seeing so many matches of Dragon Tail online in the OCG, because I'm subscribed to like an OCG channel that just posts like matches of, you know, something versus something every single time, like 5 times a day, and Dragon Tail keeps popping off. So I think this deck is probably one of the top tier decks right now, maybe like in the top 3, probably actually, yeah, that with Yummy and potentially even K9 actually. So yeah, all the 3 new decks are the new meta. But yeah, there are no Yummy in here, which is funny because I really thought that Yummy would have been the new best deck, but whatever, let's dive into this Dragon Tail deck list. So completely different from how I played it, because they're not playing the Frightful package, which I thought was pretty good actually. But no, they're on King of the Swamp instead, which allows you to summon some cool cards like Dragoon. So for Dragoon, you need a Dark Magician and a Dragon Monster. So obviously a lot of the monsters that you play are Dragon. There's Dragons and Spellcaster, so that's why it matters. And King of the Swamp is your Dragon Monster, so that's how you can make it. Not too difficult. I don't know if you can actually fuse from the grave. Maybe I have... Actually, I don't think so. Yeah, the normal spell fuses from, like, the deck and the hand. So yeah, it's you're also never getting the pop effect because you're not playing any normal monsters. I find it really interesting how there was 2 of the fire, 2 of the wind. I actually only played 1 of the fire and 0 of the wind because that card's really reactive. It doesn't do anything on its own. So I think you might actually have some... consistency issues if you just play too many cards that sorry, do pretty much nothing on their own. And yeah, we're playing 3 of the level 5 that also does nothing on its own, but it's still a really good card to play. 3 of what I want to consider the closest thing. Actually no, this is a 1-card starter. This card's completely broken. And also the Scorpion guy or whatever, the level 3 Dark Dragon. This card's also really good. So yeah, that's a starter. The spell card that searches is a starter. The fusion spell is pretty much a starter. Like this, and any monster basically means that you can play the game. But when you really think about it, like how consistent this deck is, honestly, it's not super consistent with this example of a deck list, because we're playing way too many hand traps but not enough starters. So again, 2 normal summons, and then 1 Rhoda and 1 fusion spell. That's only 12 power cards out of 41. And then yeah, obviously there's like some other ways to play the game. Like you can, you know, draw King of the Swamp or Polymerization, with, you know, like one of the big Dragon Tails and like hand traps, and then you play the game. Or you can draw, you know, like the level 5 and like another Dragon Tail and another hand trap, and that also makes you play the game. That's the reason why, by the way, why Imperm is not being played in this deck. It's because it doesn't synergize at all with the strategy of using your hand traps potentially as fusion materials, and then you can recycle them back with this this big boy right there. So yeah, it's a really cool deck, and it can play an absurd... Oh my god, my voice is actually messed up, my bad. But yeah, this deck can play an absurd amount of hand traps. So yeah, 2, 5, 7, 10, 12, 13, 15, 17. 17 hand traps out of 41. That's honestly not too bad if you ask me. But yeah, I just think that the ratio should be fine-tuned just a little bit. Like I said, I disagree with 2 and 2. I just think that the wind one is utter garbage. Like, if you can just cut this down at the very least to 1, potentially 0. And then the fire one, I mean, it's not bad, actually. It does have, like, a graveyard effect. that is proactive, which is infinitely better than a reactive effect of, oh, whenever your Dragon Fusion monster dies by opponent's card effect or something, you can do something. Regardless of how good the effect is, if it's reactive, it's always by default a worse card. Nevertheless, this deck is really good, and the extra deck, I mean, yeah, not really much worth going over. Very interesting, the Blue Eyes Link one, I didn't think of that. I just thought maybe if you're making Hieratic Seal, then you can just use like a Striker Dragon and something else, but actually it does make a lot of sense because you can turn a Spellcaster as well into a Dragon, so that Hieratic Seal can technically be summoned by using one Spellcaster and one Dragon, because the Spellcaster, so the level 4 there, can turn into your Dragon for Hieratic Seal anyways. So I actually do believe that playing this Blue Eyes Link one over Striker Dragon is much better. So yeah, kudos for those players for figuring it out. I actually just didn't think about that at all. But you can't really use like this Link one to make SP Little Knight, so that's one of the drawbacks. Whereas with Striker Dragon, you actually can. So yeah, there's pros and cons to everything, I guess you can say. Cross Sheep with Ossa. But the issue with the Ossa here is that there's nothing to Link Climb into other than like SP to get the Banish effect, which I'm not necessarily sure is really optimal. Maybe you might look into like Celine and Access Code. I think that could be really good because you do play Spellcasters in your deck anyways. So yeah, if we could potentially look into that, but there's not enough spell cards for Celine to really be live. So it would really be like a going second strategy, or like, I mean, obviously when you're trying to break a board, relying on your opponent and having the spell cards, because Celine counts both players' spells in the field and in the graveyards. And yeah, a lot of fusion monsters in the extra deck. Obviously, maybe look into playing a third copy of that, but you really don't have to. But at the same time, they do play Dragoon, so that's the reason why they play. Oh, and also Millennium Eyes are strict. That's really interesting because of King of the Swamp. So yeah, you can replace 1,000 Eyes Restrict, and then you just need any effect monsters. So it's actually super generic to make. I do not really care about the side deck, but like I said, there can be one is a really good card in this deck because, you know, you play Spellcasters, you play Dragons, and also you can just sit on like one big fusion monster that's really annoying for your opponent to out. Maliss, okay. Dormouse is not limited. I am very stupid. So what got a hit in this deck? I completely forgot. Wait, it just feels like it's at full power. Am I tripping or something? Maybe this is like pre-ballast. Yeah, it has to be, because I'm pretty sure at the very least like something got a hit in the ballast. Let me actually double check. This makes no sense. 2025. Oh yeah, we don't have it yet. Oh, wait, no, yeah, that's, yeah, okay, I don't have the April bad list on me. My bad, but whatever, you can correct me in the comment section. K9, okay, this is a very interesting deck list. It's a pure K9 deck with the Zablaster and the Trickstar Curbane, and a lot of hand traps. Okay, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, 14. It's actually not that much when you think about it. I mean, it's a huge amount still, but yeah. With one Trickstar Field Spell, and then, you know, the 2 Call by the Graves and a Cross Out. The Crow being played in here, I don't know if I really understand the reasoning behind that. It's not like you're playing Yummy where you can just make the Lyrillus to search it. Maybe there has to be a reason for that, but honestly not too sure. Maybe DD Crow is good against Dragon Tail if you can banish like some of their... Yeah, because they don't play light and darks, right? Everything is like... I mean, yeah, the level 3, I guess, is a dark, but apart from that, yeah, it's like wind, fire, water, earth, etc. Yeah, I don't know how good DD Crow is. Maybe, like, banishing, like, the spells and traps. I don't even know. I have no idea, but I just don't really feel like this card is usually optimal. And Joel and Logbird in this deck is really good because of Artifact Durandal. So you can basically replicate the Trickstar Droll Reincarnation combo. And it's actually really funny because... maybe that's the reason why he thought about including Light Stage and Corbane. Like, oh yeah, that's true. It's reminiscent of the Trickstar combo, so I might as well just play some Trickstar cards because, you know, it's a level 5 extender. It makes me make some rank 5 plays. Makes a lot of sense. I'm not too sure about, you know, playing 2 Lupus when 1 copy should be enough, but whatever. That's not the end of the world. 3 Case. One of the shitty Quick Play spell that doesn't do anything. I feel like everybody should be dropping this card. It's really bad. And also the Trap card is not good. I think the only one that you really need is the X-Force Liberation, because that one actually destroys a card, and all the quick play spells are super easy to recycle back anyways, so yeah, you just don't really want to play too many bricks. Right now, I can count so many bricks in here that I'm not a really big fan. Well, to be fair, so many bricks is like kind of... It's subjective to the context. Like, Lupus is not necessarily a brick, Lantern is not necessarily a brick, Trickstar, Light Stage, this. I mean, technically every single card in this deck is a brick if you don't draw like a 2-card combo, but whatever. That's the problem that you have when you play a one-card combo, sorry, a two-card combo deck. Like, you can draw one K9 monster and 4 hand traps, and your hand actually just does nothing. Unless it's like Izuna. If it's Izuna, then you can just like do nothing with it, and then on your opponent's turn, your opponent activates a monster effect in hand or grave, and then you can go, okay, Izuna, summon, send Lupus, revive back, and then you can quick seize into the Ripper, and then you can negate a monster effect your opponent activates, and then you can, on your turn, go Ripper effect, set like, I mean, search actually a K9 card, and then you get to play the game, so it's not too bad. Yeah, whatever. Tenpai Dragon now. Okay, I mean, nothing really interesting other than the fact that there is a Goldian Schneider in the main deck, which is, I mean, very easy to play in a deck where you just don't really care about the extra deck all that much, right? You just go, like, banish 12 cards, bounce back, what, like, 3 cards? No, 2 cards? Yeah, 2 cards, face up, your opponent can respond but cannot negate the card, and yeah, then you just go for game. And yeah, it plays all the Molchamis, and still a huge combination of both hand traps and board breakers. That is insane. I think this is like 25 non-engine. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so yeah, 11, 14, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23, 26, 27. 27 non-engine? Oh my god, this is way more than... Oh my... Dude, this is barely a Tenpai Dragon deck. See, this is the thing. It's basically non-engine featuring Tenpai cards. It's actually insane. This deck is the biggest scam deck on Earth. And also, the worst part is, it's not even that bricky, but then again, with 1 Chandra, 1 field spell, I guess Kaiman is a 3. Yeah, I mean, 4, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, yeah, it's like 90% consistency, maybe going second, something like that, a little bit more than that, actually. And also Thrust can get access to like terraforming into the field spell, so it's not too bad, but whatever. Yeah, okay, some more hate in the side. Oh, this is a Dragon Tail deck with some Regenesis cards. Oh, very interesting. Yeah, okay, cool. I'm just gonna go through it because, yeah, I mean, there's nothing much to explain because the package is so small. It's just the monster that summons itself, I think, when you got... No, actually, that's not even it. Hold on a second. There is the dragon and Regenesis. I think both of them are like the same kind of monsters. Yeah, Warrior Bereshit, and then Valkyria. That's like the one that bounces back spells and traps, and Bereshit is the one that bounces back an opponent's monster to the hand. Okay, so yeah, Warrior, Dragon, level 7, level 8. I don't really know if I understand the synergy. And yeah, actually, you know, the reason why he plays those two is because unlike Sage Shemot, you don't really need another Regenesis card to make them work. Okay, yeah, so it does make sense, actually. Yeah, that's true. If you're just playing like 2 Regenesis cards in your deck, might as well just be those ones. And how easy are they to summon? I mean, the Dragon Tails, I'm pretty sure one of the fusion has to have like 2500 attack or defense, otherwise it just doesn't make any sense. Dragon Tail, it's one word. Yeah, always gets me. Oh yeah, Altharion has 2500 defense. Okay, cool. So that's the reason why there's synergy. That's awesome. I can't wait to start seeing some Regenesis cards being splashed everywhere because I think this engine is really good. It's pretty much like Kashtira 2.0, but not really. And also, it's maybe a little less annoying, but it's very recursive. Ryzeal, okay, so this is pretty balanced. That explains everything because I was like, whoa, how? But also the fact that pure, like full power Ryzeal, full power in quotation mark, kind of struggles with, you know, the newer decks like Dragon Tail, K9, and Yummy, really speaks volume on how good those decks are, independent on whether there's a ban list or not. So that's really interesting for us in the TCG, just in case Konami decides to shaft us with like a late ban list, because right now the ban list is actually taking forever. And I am gonna upload a very interesting video very soon on, actually, you know what, I'm not even gonna spoil it. Okay, Maliss, whatever, don't care. Ryzeal, nice deck. Primite Blue Eyes with 2 Neo Kaiser Seahorse in the main deck. Very interesting, only 2 load as well. So how many starters do we have? I think still a huge amount, actually. 2, 5, 8, 10, because there's only 2 barrels, that's true. 13, 15, yeah, okay, so yeah, 15. So that's the exact same amount, it's just that we have 1 less barrel, 1 less load, and then 2 Kaiser Seahorse, which, I mean, I can respect totally. I think this card is underrated. And yeah, Crimson Dragon package, it's insane. In the OCG, this is actually kind of standard, and the TCG, you actually get bullied if you play this, so very interesting. But in the TCG, we don't have Max C, so we gotta substitute it with like more other like hand traps, which might just, I don't know, remove the incentive to play those cards. But also like Nibiru is like pretty popular right now in the TCG as well because Maliss is a thing and Appaloosa is not a thing, so Nibiru is good, whereas in the OCG land, Nibiru is just not a good card at all, so yeah, that's another reason why they can afford to disrespect Nibiru by going to the Crimson Dragon line. So again, it really does depend on like trends and stuff. That doesn't necessarily mean that Crimson Dragon is bad, it just means that at the current moment in the TCG, it's not safe to do because Nibiru is still a card that you gotta respect, but that will probably soon change, actually. Okay, Dragon Tail again, with Dark End Evaporation and Light End something Dragon. I actually don't even know. Okay, cool. That's really nice. You can make the Light and Darkness Dragon Lord, which is not even here. Whoa. And also the Chaos or something. Oh, this card's really good, actually, in this deck. You can fuse for it and destroy a bunch of cards. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, I mean, I thought about it too, but I was just like, I don't know if it's really worth it because you're playing 2 fusion monsters in your extra deck for like 2 main deck monsters. You're not seeing those cards super often, and I just don't really think it's worth it overall. Dragon Tail again, not super interesting, so whatever. Dragon Tail again, oh my god, so many Dragon Tails. 6 Samurai, holy god. And he got 14th. 14th out of how many? 141 players. Alright, it's not like super insane, but still in like a Montreal Regionals, that's basically like your invite. So that's, I mean, that's cool. Okay, a decent amount of hand traps as well. And the deck feels like it's clean. I mean, I don't know. I'm not like a 6 Samurai expert, but I think those ratios on paper look very respectable. I mean, I can look at like 3, whatever, Kizan, 3 of the dude that summons from hand Kageki or something, Anarchist or Monk or something, I don't know. Yeah, I know that these are the 3 ofs because they're like the best extenders, and then everything else, one of, like one Fuma, one... Oh, I forgot the name of this girl that like summons from the deck by banishing from the grave or something. The Union or something. And then, yeah, the one that summons itself when you got like 2 6 Samurais. Great Shogun Shin. Actually, no, yeah, this is 1 and this is 2. Yo, honestly, just unlimit Gateway of the 6 completely. I really want to see the world burn. This is a very weird deck. What the shit did I just... What is this? Yo, the more I look at it, the more I get confused. Oh my god. Bro, no, this is not even like one deck. This is cards.deck. What is... Yo, 2 Tachyon Transmigration, 1 Surfacing Big Jaws, 1 Drake Shark, some random Trickstar cards, Galaxy Eyes Afterglow and Photon, which actually makes sense, but still. 1 Small World, not 2, not 3, not 0, 1, exactly 1. And then 1 7th Ascension, okay, that's fair enough, but I probably would have played 3, actually, just to max out on consistency. And then, yeah, the Light Stage is actually seeing a lot of play right now. I don't know why, but yeah, maybe it's randomly good against, like, Dragon Tail? I don't know, maybe. But yeah, no, I mean, it's a cool card. If your deck doesn't play a field spell, you search, like, a Trickstar, and then you do something. I don't know. I don't really care too much. Oh, I think actually, the Aqua Angel made, hold on a second. Trickstar Aqua Angel probably makes Candina 1 card rank 4, no? Actually it doesn't. If you control the Trickstar, you can special summon the... Actually, you know, it does. Oh, it does. Actually, you can make a 1 card rank 4. Damn, that's actually not too bad. Yo! Okay, so you go activate Light Stage, search Candina, normal summon effect, search your Aqua Angel because it's a Trickstar and a Marincess card. And then, yeah, you go into the Star Liege rank 4, which searches... Well, actually, it's not even a Star Liege, Galaxy Photon Dragon. And then you search your deck for the Tachyon, you give the Tachyon to your opponent or yourself, and then you search Tachyon Transmigration. If you gave it to the opponent, then you can go for the Swords Child. Actually, no, that's not gonna work because you special summoned the non-light dragon. No, actually, no. Yeah, you summoned only Dragon Synchros from the extra deck. Oh, okay, you know what? Yeah, Candina actually bridges into your, your Galaxy and Tachyon engine, so that's actually really nice. Dude, I like this a lot, actually. It started off looking as a joke, but I can actually understand the synergy. Same thing with Big Jaws. Again, you go Big Jaws, make the rank 4, and then, yeah, you just play the game. That's freaking awesome. That's actually amazing. Okay, Tenpai again, really don't care. Let's move into some more deck lists from the Philippines. And this one is gonna be goated as shit because the deck that got second out of 230 players, right, was Crystron, the best deck. Okay, so this is pure Crystron with the Speedward package, which I think is very stupid to do if you can only play 2 Terratop. It really defeats the purpose because now you're playing 1 brick for 2 good cards. it's just not a good ratio at all, because this engine is also like terrible going second, whereas the cash cards are good going second, but then you can't play them in the OCG. So in the OCG, if I had to play Crystron, I'd probably just play with Tidal. It's unfortunately, I think, the only option that you really have, because the Azaminas are not good on their own, very bad. The Tidal is actually much better. Oh, the Horus engine is also like fine. So yeah, you can play like Horus Crystron in the OCG, or Tidal, and you just play a bunch of waters, and then you play like maybe Molchimi Pearl, yeah. Depends on how good it is in the format, but it's actually like really dog shit against Dragon Tail. They can summon 0 times from the hand, actually. They fusion summon for like their Dragon Fusions twice, and then yeah, they give you 0 draws. And also Furos is terrible against Dragon Tail. Like, just hand traps in general are garbage against that deck. Really bad. Same for Yummy. I mean, Yummy doesn't really lose to like any hand trap in particular other than Max C. Apart from that, yeah, it's just kind of useless. This deck list is fine. I mean, yeah, it gets my approval from from a fellow Crystron player. Navy Dragon Mech, interesting. Double Dragster. This guy studied my spreadsheet. Yeah, check out my spreadsheet on my website. Yes, of course. Always gonna have that plug. Okay, Dragon Tail with the Frightful package, but also King of the Swamp. Very interesting. And then only one of each of the big boys. I really don't see how you need more than one of these cards, really. This is a big-ass deck list, though. 45 cards. And still a lot of hand traps. 5, 8, 10, 13... Actually, it's really not that many when I think about it. 13 out of 45 looks like it's insane, but it's... Yeah, it's actually kind of nothing. Because I don't think that... I mean, actually, no. I think this deck is low-key kind of good going second, because it's not normal summon dependent. I mean, it does have, like, actual legitimate extenders. It can make Garden Chimera to break boards going second, especially with Polymerization. That is 1 board breaker and a half. If your opponent doesn't have, like, non-targeting negation, it's really hard to lose. And also you can chain block. So if your opponent has like Baron de Fleur, for example, you might actually have to negate Polymerization, which kind of feels really bad. Especially if you got another one. So again, a good reason why I can see the 2 Polymerizations when you're playing 5 for Patchwork and King of the Swamp. So multiple ways of searching it out. I can definitely respect this deck list. I think it's cool. K9 again with Artifact Lancia on the main deck with the Regulus and River Stormer. So you can search an Omni Negate and then negate Nibiru again. But you can negate Nibiru with K9, the Ripper. So yeah, you can negate like a combination of like Nib, Imperm. Not that it really matters because this deck doesn't really lose to any of those cards. But yeah, this deck actually just does not lose to hand traps, period. It punishes you for playing hand traps. So that's a really cool thing about K9. The issue is it has consistency issues. Because again, it's not a 1-card combo deck. So if you just draw like a bunch of hand traps with, you know, not enough K9 cards, then you lose. Or you can also draw like too many of the bad K9 cards that don't work with each other, like Lantern, Lupus, and stuff like that, and not draw Jokul or Izuna. This deck list, I think, just looks really pleasing on paper. I mean, it's just a beautiful deck list to look at, and also the main deck, Artifact Lancia, is pure savageness. Oh my god, okay, and it's still a decent amount of hand traps while maxing out on consistency, so definitely gets my seal of approval, but there's no 7th Tachyon in any K9 deck list that we've went over. Which is interesting because my K9 deck list had 7 Tachyon, but they just do not care. Wow, it's crazy. All the K9s, yeah, there's only 1 K9 in Thailand, but in the Philippines, there is way more K9, right? Hold on a second. Never mind, I lied. Yeah, Dragon Tail is like the more popular deck, apparently, from what I'm seeing. Okay, Blue Eyes again, 1 Lancia on the main deck, Ultimate Fusion. Bro, people are still playing that garbage in the OCG. That makes no sense. Stop playing 10 bricks in your deck, bro. Just, my god, like, when will people learn? Seriously, bro, you're better off without, like, all that unnecessary fluff. This is ridiculous. A lot of one-ofs in... What is this side deck? Kakimero Drago makes a lot of sense. Magnamon makes a lot of sense. Nibiru makes sense for crossout. And then 1 Ogre, 1 Reaper, 1 Bell. You know what? I'm not even gonna bitch about it. It's actually kind of logical. Yo, I have never... This side deck almost has like 15 different one-ofs. The only exceptions are Lancia and Dark Ruler, really. But to be completely fair, most of these one-ofs are completely justified, so I can't really say too much here. Whoa, hold on a second. I just realized 1 Lightning Storm in the side, but no Duster. Pretty sure Duster is better than Lightning Storm. Usually. Especially if you play Nibiru and Magnamut, because the Lightning Storm can actually be a dead card, whereas Duster can never be a dead card. So I don't know about that. It's just... I mean, obviously, there's the argument of, you can always destroy your opponent's attack position monsters. Bro, almost nobody plays into that at all. I never see, like, an attack position monster at the end of, like, when I go second on, like, my opponent's turn 1 board. Never. Okay, White Forest. I am actually very interested in that deck. I'll probably make a bunch of videos on it because it's a very underexplored deck, and there's a really good reason why people are playing it in the OCG, but it's very tricky to play, and it does lose quite hard to the big hand traps, like the Chummies, Shifter, Drool. Those cards are rough, but like the baby hand traps I think are more manageable, and Nibiru just does nothing against this deck because you can make the Azamina is Ilya Sylvia. But there's a lot of like soft bricks, not really like hard bricks, nothing that's like a Garnet. It's just cards that I'd rather not draw, like in a perfect world. Like this trap, this spell, this monster, this one's fine actually. And then, yeah, I mean like the quick play spell that fuses, not super ideal. Woes, not super ideal. Hallowed Azamina, kind of shit to draw. You see, it's like, it's always like a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Like, please don't draw this and don't draw like all those cards at the same time. This card is also kind of shit if your hand is not good, you know what I'm saying? Okay, Voice is Voice. I do not really care too much about this deck, I'll be honest with you, but this is very interesting to see, right? In top 16 of like 200 something player tournament, we are still seeing a very old deck. I mean, not really old, I mean, it's only like 1 year old, but yeah, it's cool to see this deck succeed. And that's actually it. Well, to be fair, I covered like 50 decks, so I can't really say that it's already over when it took quite a while. But yeah, Crystron is the highlight of this video, of course. But no, seriously, jokes aside, Dragon Tail is one heck of a beast. We can see a lot of Dragon Tails here, right? One Dragon Tail, I mean, the one that won the whole thing, and then another one, and then 3 in a row. So 5 Dragon Tails out of the top 16. That's like a 30% representation in Top Cut, which is kind of concerning. And then we still have like, you know, 2 Maliss and then 3 Ryzeal. So Ryzeal is performing just a little better with some Primate Blue Eyes, only 1 actually. And then some random one of decks and actually 2 Tenpais, which also makes a lot of sense when you play, you know, either a bunch of board breakers like the Goldion Schneider build, or with, you know, Bestial Fiendsmith Tenpai or Sky Striker Tenpai. There's a lot of versions for this deck, so yeah, it's a deck that really rewards your creativity. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.